Добро пожаловать, друзья. Okay, my fault, guys. Wrong
That
language.
was a different language.
Different language, yes.
What language is that?
That's Russian.
Russian.
Yes, my heritage is Ukrainian. Welcome to another episode of SSB Podcast. I'm Elijah. With me is Dan. Say what's up.
What's up, squad?
And then we got Chef Jew.
Chef Jew, a.k.a. Jewish Jesse, a.k.a. Jesse.
Yes. We're excited for another episode. Well, first off, thank you for everyone that already have tuned in to our other episodes. We are honored, blessed. The fact that you can listen to us, that at first you're like, why am I listening to this? And now you have a reason.
The fact that you're still here.
Yes. We have an amazing episode, a topic that I truly believe can help many, many people. How friendships affect mental health. This is a topic that many people do not talk about. They either talk about friendships, talk about mental health, but we're going to put it together and discuss the importance of it, some maybe myths, some challenges, some stories, and just have an amazing conversation. So Jesse, we are friends. I hope we are. We are, right?
I don't know. It's kind of one day here, one day the other. It's,
See, Dan always
it just depends on if it's Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday.
Okay.
It's a rocky road.
It's a rocky road.
Dan's consistent.
Yes, he's
very consistent. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
But let's talk about, again, we'll go into our friendships later, but can you talk about some positive impacts of having good friends and great friendships?
Yeah, I mean, come on. Good friends lead you in places where, if you are called, for instance, in ministry, if you're called into certain things, you have a dream inside of you and your friends are the ones that typically push you to that, right? Mm-hmm. They're the ones that are the pillars. They're the ones that are going to push you to the next direction and to the next place. And your environment, the people that you surround yourself with are so important because it can either be very positive or deep down in the slumps, right? And I mean, we're going to talk about that obviously a little bit more in our personal stories and friendships and stuff.
Yeah, I think let's start off defining what does a friend look like? What is a friend? Because you go on Facebook, I got 1,500 friends. No, you don't, okay? Right. You just have people that but friends, true friends. What does that look like? So Dan, talk about that.
I think it's someone who has companionship, someone who supports you emotionally, someone who has somewhat of a similar interest in hobbies and things like that. I think a friend is very supportive of you, whether you're doing good or bad, and your friend also holds you accountable to things that they know, you should be doing better. A friend's not going to hold you back, right? I use the analogy weights all the time because I heard it one time. It's if I'm strong enough to lift 225 and I'm lifting 100 pounds, a good friend is going to tell me, hey, you need to go up weight.
That's right.
Because they understand that if I'm lifting 100 pounds, I am not producing enough to get myself better. Therefore, I must hold you accountable in order for you to get better. So I think that's your friend is your support.
But also, if you can't hold the 225 pounds,
I'm also going to let
somebody
you know
spotting you.
Hey, you need to go
somebody
down.
Spotting you.
Right, and they're going to also spot you. So a friend is those people who support you through the good and bad. They hold you accountable, and you want that companionship through the emotional support. Like I said, a friend can be all those things for you.
Yeah, Jesse, how would you define friendship?
The perfect friend is Daniel Ben-Gurion.
This is a common thread and theme.
It is. We like to direct it towards us every now and then. But I mean, a supportive, amazing friend. Let's just go back to the Bible, right? The Bible, I believe it's Proverbs 18:24, where it says a friend sticks closer than a brother. And that is something that's so beautiful because if you think about it, brother is blood, man.
Yeah.
Brother is blood, okay? So when you compare a friend and a brother, that means that person who is blood, it doesn't even stick as close as a friend. It's just, it's something that's amazing. And so when we talk about that means that we're here to grow together. We're here to push each other. There's a specific lyric. I don't necessarily remember who it's from. It's, what is it? NF. Yeah. When he's saying the weight, essentially, I don't know the whole lyric, but it's the weight of friendship is something that's a make or break, Yeah. And the beauty of it is a friend will tell you how it is. A friend will tell you where to go and the reality of your situation, because friends will lie, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the fake friends will lie, and we'll talk about
Yeah.
fake friends for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And friends, if you look at, truly define the word friend, it's someone that's there with you in the light and in the dark. Someone that can hype you up when you're on stage, let's say you're an athlete and you win gold medals, you're winning championships, but also when you're crying on the phone and you're like, hey, I don't know what to do.
Right.
That's a true friend.
Yeah, it's that acceptance, you know, validating your friend, someone that you support, and understanding that, you know, they're not always going to have it going on, and you may not always have it going on, but it's understanding and validating them and pushing them through their challenges as you would expect them to do the same with you. So, you know, we've had good friends, we've had bad friends, and we've been able to distinguish them, but we want to understand, or we want to help the people understand,
Right.
how do you distinguish a bad friend?
Yeah. And I think this is a perfect segue into
Yeah.
challenges when it comes to friendships, but also mental health. This is very important.
Yeah.
If you're not mentally, when I say mentally, I'm talking about the overall, like your health,
Yeah.
your happiness, your joy,
Yeah.
your just a purpose in life. If you don't have that, it's tough. So how does that relate? So talk about the challenges.
Right. So I'll share a story of mine. One of my personal experiences of really identifying who I believe my friends were was when I was back in my freshman year of college, and you know, my circumstances, they just got tough.
Yeah.
Right. I became to battle adversity with, you know, formerly being a athlete who was playing a sport and attending college, and then the next few months I was doing neither of the two. I wasn't attending college or playing
Drop out.
football. So like, you know, right, yeah, like a dropout, right? So I just became quote unquote like just a typical, right? Like, you know, so that was a challenge in and of itself for me personally, but it was also an eye opener for me because I was able to identify like who's supporting you, right? And you two were some of the people who held close to me and supported me through the adversity. But I would say the lack of support is one of the key factors. Secondly is jealousy and competition.
Oof.
You know, if you got a friend that always
Tell it.
who always has to
Preacher.
they have to one up you.
Yeah.
Like you did this, so I got to do this, right? And it becomes a competition, and that's not a friend. Mm-hmm. And those friends who pressure you into doing things that they like, but it's not necessarily fond of something that you like. I think those are also friends that you need to be aware of. So being able to distinguish a bad friend, a friend that's not good for you, it may take time and experience, but you are able to see those red flags for sure.
Yeah, and we should compete not against each other, but compete together for a goal and purpose.
Absolutely.
We're a team. Like think about it. A team, you have the same vision and goals to win.
Right.
But if you're against each other, I don't want to say an enemy, but in a way you can act as one.
That's true.
So that's why we need to make sure that we're on the same team and on the same page. But that's identifying that can be difficult because sometimes you can't really see through the filter
Right.
Yeah.
who your true friends are. So Jesse, talk about some challenges, particularly on mental health and like your personal experience.
Yeah, so I'll kind of go into my like personal story, kind of share with you guys. I mean, you guys have been amazing friends, and I love the chemistry between us. We've been able to grow and help each other, and mental health wise, I mean, like we've been able to push each other to the next level, and that's something that's beautiful, right? So when it came to my personal story, there's a certain shift that happens when you go from high school to college. You know, like
It's a reality check.
Shout out to them freshman year.
Yeah, man,
Listen,
freshman
man.
year was wild. Let me tell you.
That re-storage of like identity, trying to figure out who
Oh
you are,
man,
Like,
yeah.
being around a whole bunch of different
Yeah.
people who are figuring out the same thing. It's just friend group changes,
Right,
a
right.
whole bunch of different life
Dude,
experiences.
and that was my experience, man. Like I went into it, and Elijah knows this, Dan knows this. I was kind of in a shell before college. As soon as I went into college, I was like,
It's like a turtle.
But you got to remind the people though, we went to a very small school.
Yes.
we did.
High school was very sheltering from the sense of people
Oh, yeah.
in the public.
Yeah, we had 49 seniors that graduated with
round
their
it up.
class?
Let's round it
Well,
up. Let's say
50.
just say
Let's say
just-
50.
let's say
Okay,
50.
I usually go about 55. You know what I'm saying?
Try to elevate it just a little
Because
bit.
it always gets crazy. Like,
Yeah.
whoa, you had 50 people in your class. Like,
Yeah.
that's insane, man. So,
Yeah.
like, you can imagine the amount of sheltering that was, like, unintentionally, but that's what we experienced.
Right.
Like, you know,
Right.
so it was definitely a culture shock. It was an
It was.
experience when we went to college for the first
It
time.
was. And the truth is I tried to become friends with everybody. You know, that was kind of how it was.
Because you were low key to a certain extent friends with everyone in high school, like to different levels. You knew everyone. You had
Of course.
conversations with everyone.
You see them daily.
So right, so that's your perception to
Yeah.
a certain extent. So it makes it difficult.
For Dan, it was more so everybody knew about him, but he wasn't friends with everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah.
For sure.
But like for me, I went into college and it was something where like I tried to be friends with everybody, and in the end, like I couldn't entrust myself with everybody. You know, I tried to, and the truth is that like I would try to entrust myself with multiple people, and then other people start talking, and then things just kind of get out the wazoo, and people start, you know, spreading rumors and so many other things, right? So I'm not going to get into it fully, but essentially like my experience was that I tried to become friends with everybody, but in the midst of losing those friendships, in the midst of being neglected by like certain people, or just like the fact that people just moved on, you know, because that's how college is, man. You go into it, you think you're friends with everybody, and then like literally second semester, people start having different friend groups. It's like this migration that happens like all over the place, and it doesn't get solid. To be honest, it doesn't get solid until like probably like sophomore year, or maybe like
I agree.
junior year or something
I
like
agree,
that.
for sure.
But what's amazing is I had you guys as a pillar. And the crazy part about it is, even though I was looking for friendships, the friendships that I really needed were the ones that kept pushing me, despite the things that were affecting me mental health wise, with other friendships that I thought were real, but they weren't.
Yeah. And also another important thing, that don't think that you can't be friends with people that don't live in your city.
Oh, yeah.
Like at this time, all three of us live in 3 different states.
Dude,
Yeah.
we're all over the place.
Right. But I feel like our friendship is better than ever because we're intentional about the growth of each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Elijah, you've had an experience growing up, obviously, when you were kind of shifting schools and kind of trying to find that ground of friendship and establishing that stability. Can you kind of share that a little bit? Because I think that's important to establish like what the friendship and mental health side of things will do. So talk about your experience growing up and stability with friends.
Absolutely. For me, think of like a military family where they move constantly. And so I can definitely relate, because I was born in Latvia, a very small country. Most people don't even know it exists, but it does. I was born there. And when I was there, I had a really good friend. Like, I would say my best friend. And when under our harsh circumstances, we had to move to upstate New York, we kept in touch in the beginning, but it faded. Right. And I'm like, man, okay. So then I found another friend, one of my best friend in Syracuse. Great, this and that. And then again, I moved at the age of 13. So I went from born, 9 years old, moved to New York. Then I moved to Ohio when I was 13. And again, that same thing happened. I'm like, man, I don't really have anyone close to me. And then I thought I had a couple of people kind of like in middle school, and I would say freshman and sophomore year. And then they moved on, and we just did not keep up. And my prayer was like, God, bring me people in my life that will make me better.
Yeah.
That will motivate me, that will push me. And I just want to say, from me to you, you guys are an answered prayer.
Oh, man.
So you're bigger than just a friend.
That's
Don't
good.
do
You're an
that
answered
now.
prayer from me.
Don't do that.
Man, about to
Make
get
me
emotional. About to get a little
Yeah.
emotional
Make me-
there, you know?
Shed some tears here, man.
Yeah.
And you truly are, because I've noticed even us graduating and moving on to different states and different ventures in our life, we kept our core together.
Right.
Like, and this would not be possible had it not been for the friendships that we have built.
Right.
And so those that are struggling with friends, I understand that it's hard. But one thing that really helped me is the perspective, and that ultimately I would rather have 0 friends but be a friend of Jesus
Yeah. Come on.
than have thousands of friends that call me friends, and I can't even call my friend
Ain't no such
Jesus.
thing as thousands of friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, I have
You don't get too many real ones that you can call close friends.
I mean, there's some type of I don't remember where the book is from, but it's talking about how like there's levels to friends where it's like the core of your friends are basically like maximum 5 people.
Yeah.
Like that's max.
Right.
Like typically it'll be like 1, 2 friends. I'm lucky to have 2. You know, we're lucky to have like 3 people overall.
Right.
But like in terms of a core friendship, like we have that. And it's cool that you can have like friends on the other outer layer. It's like onions. Like it's an onion that has layers. And so like our friendships have layers. There's friends that are from a distance for sure, but then there's those close friends that are like comrades. They're the people that you can trust and abide in.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think what happens a lot of times is people have so much artificial friends that when the time goes and they're by themselves, they have no one to lean on.
Yeah.
Right. And then, well, number one, as I said, make sure you lean on Jesus. That's key.
Right. That's true.
But then after that, make sure you find people in your life, in our case, us, so that you can live life with. And that's the struggle is people have, like when it comes to mental health, is that when they're together and they're like hanging out, it's easy. But as soon as you get by yourself, your mind begins to trickle.
Yeah.
No one really likes you. No one really cares about you.
Comparison.
You're fake.
Right.
All those people, they don't really love you. And so I want to, for the people, let's kind of talk about some practical things and tips that we can provide from our experiences that helped us in, number one, identifying true friends, and then maintaining the friends. Yeah. Sometimes you can run across someone that you think you can build, but it takes both sides to build that. So Jesse, can you give us a couple of tips?
Yeah, and just to point out something that you pointed out earlier is to pray for your friends.
Yeah.
I think that is a really, really, really big key into this whole puzzle, right? Because whenever you're praying for your friends, whenever you're constantly like lifting up your friends to the Lord, like God is in control of all of this, right? God is in control. He's kind of the master puppeteer, kind of, I guess.
That
like
sounds
he's
a little bit devious.
Yeah. Well, he's in a good way. I promise. I'm good. God is good. God is good.
Jesse.
Yeah. You want friends? Here you go.
I got you.
Yeah, but like it is such an amazing thing to be able to pray for friends and then have them like that, because that was a big part of you saying like, oh, you guys are an answered prayer. As much as we're answered prayers, like you guys are an answered prayer to me. And Dan, I'm pretty sure you can say the same. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
Absolutely. It's all love. Absolutely.
All love. But I think the biggest part is just praying for your friends, you know, because that's something I was praying for in the midst of all these friends that I had.
Yeah.
I was praying like, God, like I love these people, but Lord, if like these aren't the ones that you want me to be with, let it be so, you know?
Yeah. And also something that Jesse, I remember the season for you from like freshman year of college to sophomore. I travel a lot, which I love. You know, if any airlines want to sponsor, I'm all for it. But Jesse had like a really core, you would say core group friend his freshman year. I come back sophomore year, I was like, where'd everybody go?
Yeah.
And then during that time, it was super tough for him because of those people that called him friend, because Jesse's one of the most loyal people you'll ever meet. It's true.
It's real, man.
But that loyalty was taken advantage of, and people just, stuff happened again. We won't go into every detail. And then during that time, Jesse, and I think the second tip that goes with praying is being willing to open up to people. Because Jesse was a little sheltered, even with us that we've known him for a while. He didn't want to talk about it. I'm like, Jesse, you got to open up little by little. But now, I mean, he tells us everything from, just everything. But that's the importance of making sure that you're opening up and building that trust with people. And, again, I appreciate you, Jesse, for trusting us in the process and for opening up in moments that was very difficult for you. So, Dan?
Yes, it's vulnerability. And I'll say this too, Jesse, just to piggyback on what you said about praying for friends. Don't just pray for your friends, pray for friends, right? That's the key for people, because a lot of times when you go looking for friends, you're not in the right space. I think praying for friends is going to put you in a position where God can show you people that will surround you and put you in a position to succeed. One of the questions I would always get asked, because I've been to a few different institutions, was in the first beginning process of me being there is did you make friends? And I would always tell them, like, no, I didn't make friends. Like, I'm not looking for friends. So one of the things about having friends is having people that are anointed is divine, right? There's people that God have put in your life for a reason. I would encourage people not to go searching for friends, because those typically aren't people that may not have your best interest at all times. God will place people into your life, and it will be for a specific reason and purpose.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's different types of friends too. That's, I think, important to address. And like, hey, sometimes you have lifelong friends, which I believe what we have is true. Sometimes you might have seasonal friends and they were good. So don't get discouraged if you move on to a next season in your life. Sometimes the friend group could change, but the core should never change.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
In the wise words of Justin Bieber, okay? Some people come in your life for a reason. Others, they come in your life for a season. But baby, you are a lifetime.
Wow.
Some romantic words right there, Chesty.
Friends too, friends too.
Okay.
We could do that too.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
But
good.
man, this has been a fantastic talk about friendships, how it can affect our mental health. And again, I just want to keep saying and reiterating always, on-set, off-set, is how grateful I am to have both of you. I think, Dan, I want to speak to you for quickly. I just appreciate your humility, your just like who you are as a person. It really helped me see, especially providing a new perspective into different type of background is something that I really admire about you. My favorite memory of you is when I visited you at one of your universities. You've been to like 50. A different story. But and we just like sat down and we were like talking for hours. Wow. And then there was a moment, and I will never forget this, Dan. There was a moment where I was talking about some stuff that I was going through, and like the way that you went from like chill to like, man, we gotta pray, and like you prayed for me, bro. Yeah. Like you prayed for me. It was like middle of the night, super dark, and you just prayed for me like it was about a situation. And I feel like our friendship there like even solidified even more. So I appreciate you for that. And Jesse, what can I say?
Not much.
Not much. Absolutely. Hey, Jesse.
Hey, no. Not on this podcast. We are not doing this. No.
Hey,
nobody.
Hey, comment.
Don't do that.
Hold on. His spelling. He loves when people spell his name Jessie.
Nope.
But
Jesse. Not I. No, that's the girl version. That's the girl version.
Okay. On a serious note, you've been another great friend for me. Not just a friend, but a brother, someone that's has seen me. And even though, so Jesse and I sometimes don't agree as much, maybe as me and Dan, but what I love about Jesse is his heart towards people, towards God. I mean, he motivates me in ways, and he, in a good way, humbles me to look at life from a different perspective. And I just always admired who you were as a person through middle school, high school, college. And I think, my favorite memories is when I visited you so many times, felt like dozens probably at this point. But you always went above and beyond for me to make sure I'm taken care of. So I just wanted to say, both of you,
it's all love, man.
It's all love, baby.
All love,
all love. And listen,
all love and love.
Yeah, and probably another episode like for men to learn how to speak up and talk about their like feelings, right? It's not a weakness. So that's a different episode. But man, we've talked about a lot. Thank you so much for listening, for tuning in. Subscribe, like, comment, thumbs up, thumbs down, 2 thumbs up, whatever it is. We want to know, what do you want us to talk about? We are an open table. We want to talk about every topic. It doesn't have to be specifically about the church or Christianity. It can be about any topic, about music, about, working out. Anything that you want to talk about, we want to discuss.
Yeah.
SSB program. Peace.